Welcome to Big Tony's Garage and Metalworks. In today's episode, we were going to be working on the 1970 Cutlass. So this is an introduction and also an overview on what I need to do. It's back tip-top shape. I bought this car about 10 years ago. Throughout the years, I've been keeping it garage kept for the most part during the winter time, and I took it out today. But it needs a little bit of tender love, if you will. It needs a little bit of polishing, a little bit of cleaning. When I got this car, it was relatively super shiny, even though this is the 1970 Cutlass. Paint job on it. One time right here. So it's got a scratch right here. It catches your finger. So I'm gonna be showing how to fix this, okay? And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna polish it. Very nice driver quality. And the bumpers to me look like they were redone at some point. They are very I've been taking care of them. I've been, mother's polish on them, and I've been shining them up, but they are dirty right now. As you can see, there's got some little water spots on it, but they shine up nicely. Some of the things that it also needs is like the emblems are, I'm assuming they're original to the car, so those need to be updated. Sort of like I was saying, I have that emblem too. And I'm having a hard time how to put it on. So if anybody knows how to do that, I put the emblem on, but I don't know how to hold it from the back because I don't have access back here to get back into this thing. So I'm thinking, do I have to remove the whole inner structure on this thing to get it out? I don't know. Inner structure is, I have to get underneath this wheel well, I'm thinking, to try to put that emblem back on and screw it back in. It's got an Oldsmobile 350 Rocket. It's dirty right now, so my plan is to get it cleaned up. And this vehicle is going to be for sale once I do all the little tiny things that I need to make it, shine it up, make it look good. And I'm thinking about painting that brake booster. It's been like that when I first got it. Somebody a long time ago was trying to restore this vehicle. I think I purchased this car, like I said, I've had it for 10 years or so. I've been keeping up with the regular maintenance on it. I did convert it to the new system, so it does have air conditioning, it does work, and it needs to be charged basically. But when I first got it, I converted it. They changed the nozzles and they flushed out the system. Then I had it working for like 3 years, and then the lever from the inside either got disconnected or the cable snapped, and it's not working now. For the heater, it does work like I said, but the problem is that I have to fix that switch, and I'll show it to you right now what needs to be fixed on it. So those are just little things that I need to fix on it, and trust me, this will look very nice once I take care of it. Once I power wash it, clean it, and then I'll detail it, and it's gonna look like a brand new car, and I'll bring you back. And it does drive like a brand new car. It does have a very solid 350 Rocket 350. The other thing also is the little piece, the little tube that holds, now this happened at the end of last summer, but the little tube, the dipstick, is missing. Somehow it kind of came loose, and when I pulled it out, the little piece came off. And what I mean by that is there's the little tube that goes inside the block. I need to replace that piece, and I do have that as well. I have been taking care of this car, the tune-up on it all the time. I change the plugs all the time just because I like to have it like that. It does not burn any oil at all. It's 350. It's not a racer, it's a cruiser, right? And I think this is even more fuel efficient than my Jeep, believe it or not. So this gives me more miles per gallon. It also has cherry bombs on it in the back, and I'll turn it on for you so you can hear it. So see if I have the keys on me. I could go inside. Yes, I do. The carpet needs to be cleaned as well, or replaced. It's not horribly bad, but could use it. It's got 105 on the odometer. You can see that, and it fires up. Watch this. See, fires right up. All right. Got the AC pump turning. You can see. I have extra belts for it. There you go. I wanted to straighten it out. It was driving me crazy. That was nice and straight. All right. So wait until I wash this. It's gonna look a lot better, okay? it's got, you know, dust on it. It's just dusty. I have the radio for it extra. I have the original hubcaps, not the rims, but just the hubcaps that go with this car. A Cutlass S. Very interesting because the hood on these opens up, the whole thing comes up, right? And later models, you can see that right here. It's kind of interesting how this design was different. It was not at the power tour. I just happened to meet up back in 2015 when I went to one of the tours. I was able to get a sticker. It's got a little bit of this on it, which I could fix a little bit over there. But again, it's a relatively solid car. All right. The Cutlass Supreme 1970. Got a little bit of this here, little tiny dot, and a little bit of this. It's not dented, it's just that the door was hitting it and it scraped it, but this will puff out, I'm almost sure. I put those little half moon thingies on the lights. These are 5 3/4 or 5.75 size lenses, and I just got some halos LEDs, you know, to make it look a little bit more, you know, modern. They do not bright, they're not super bright, you know, as you can see. I mean, it's a really nice. The wheels, these are American racing wheels. These are, I believe these are 17s. These are 17s, and those are 18s. It's got brand new tires in the back. 2 years ago, they're brand spanking new. Okay, and these need to be replaced. These are having a little bit of surface wear. They're not that bad on the tread, but they have a little bit of cracking going on, and they just need to be replaced. They're just older. I also replaced. See, it's got slotted rotors, and I did a conversion right on this brake system because it was drum brakes when I first got it. It was all original, and so all I did was convert it. Right, I just converted it. All right, like I said. And I'll take you around the block so you can feel it. So I plan on working on this today. I'm going to work on on that area that I told you on the other side. I need to clean it and detail it. So I'll show you. It's got a center console. I have this plastic piece. It's like a little chrome plastic looking thing that goes all around. And I have it. I just need to put it in. The center console. This car is in original option was a bench seat, and it was converted over to a. So this is not original to the car, and the front seats are not original to the car. So at some point somebody did that, and it's nice because you can store things in here. The radio, I'm thinking about changing it as well. This is what I was telling you. Okay, it does not turn off because I think the hook in the back either came loose or it broke. So I have to go in there and see what's going on. This one too. So this is something that I need to work on. The wipers work. Right, the lights work, the quarters on, and then the gas gauge is not working. That's how I bought the car too. Okay, it does not work, and I think that has to do with that's like a $30 part. That's what we're doing right now. I'm just gonna take you around the block so you could feel it. I'll go over to a big street over here. This is the Cutlass S model. This is the basic model. You can see right there by that emblem. Cutlass Supreme or Cutlass S, as it was called back in the days. This is the base model, right? Very comfortable car, very responsive motor. See that? It's not a racer, but it's definitely a cruiser. It's very comfortable to ride. I've never had problems with this car besides the battery I needed to replace, which I did back, like I said, in 14, and I thought it was even sooner than that, but time flies. But I have never had any problems with this. I store it and then I turn it on maybe 2 or 3 times during the cold season, and I took it off. This is we're talking about April right now, and I took it out so that I could work on it and clean it. Right, and we could get it ready. And I plan on selling this car this summer. Somebody can enjoy this vehicle. I was able to enjoy and do work on it, and I did do a lot of work on it, as you can see. Brake conversion was a big disc brake thing that really helped me out in the sense that I did have a chance to, with the conversion, for it to stop better. This car would be a very nice summer car. I'm gonna polish the aluminum wheels that are on there, but as you can see, it's a solid car. It's very comfortable. Just glides. The car is kind of like a boat, if you will, or a rocket in this case, right? It's a Rocket 350. Very responsive motor. All right, let's go this way. All right. It's a 3-speed 350 transmission, automatic, obviously, with the center console conversion on it. You could always go back and put the original bench seat if that's what you want to do. As far as I know, I haven't checked, but it does have a whole bunch of documentation that came with this car. In 1970, it was put together. All right, so I think there's a cul-de-sac here. No, it keeps going. But I'm going to turn around here because I want to go back to the big street. I always get thumbs up on this car. People find it fascinating. You know, what year or somebody else had a car like this when they were growing up and that sort of thing. So there's a guy, his name is Chris Fix, that did this on his car, and I'm following all of his step-by-step. So he's got a really good step-by-step guide. I'm just letting you guys know. He did it on another vehicle, and I'm doing it on my Cutlass. So basically, you start off by, you know, always cleaning this area very well with soap, right? Make sure that it's nice and clean, and then you dry it off with a chamois. You want to at least, you know, make sure that there's nothing on here. You have to make sure that there is not anything that's going to scratch the paint. So, you know, you're trying to take away, like he says, you know, you're trying to take the paint off. You're trying to take the scratches off, not put scratches in. So you have to always make sure that this is clean, okay? You tape the area, and I'll show you a little bit later. I have to go to the store and get myself a sponge, because you need a sponge to make it nice and even to use with this, which is if you run your finger through it, and if your finger catches, like in this case it does barely, but it does catch, you're able to, you always have to want to keep it wet all the time. Keep it wet so the surface is, you know, slick and, you know, soapy, and you start to sand it with this one, right? And then you go back and then you check it, and then you tape this area off. You know where the scratch is at. You want to make sure that you know where it's at, because you will start losing it once you start to, you know, even it out. And he has a really good explanation on why you see scratches. You know, he goes into detail about, you know, what you need to do to the actual surface of it, you know, and he talks about the 3 different levels. The first level would be the primer is the first level, second level is paint, and then the third level is the clear coat, right? And then basically you want to blend it in so that it's not like the sharp angle of the scratch. You're smoothing it out so when the sun hits it, it reflects back and you're not able to see that, right? And then you use the rubbing compound at the end, and it'll make it even more smoother, you know, make it nice and even. So right now I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna get myself a sponge that I could use so that I could, and I'll show you the reason why, okay? So I'll be back. Something new, I've never done this before, so bear with me. There is the, hard to see that scratch, but I'm gonna tilt you a little bit there. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is you want to wash it down. There's a brand new sponge. I'll take it out of the bag. Put some water in it. Some soap. Make sure you lather it up. Don't use dishwashing soap, as you know that has chemicals in it. Even though it's a lot foamier, but it does have chemicals that are harsh for the paint. It's not meant to paint unless you have a very oxidized paint job and you don't care about your car. Go right ahead and use it. When you ever buy, you know, soap, make sure it has Carnauba on it. Carnauba para auto. Good stuff. It's a brand new container that I had in there, shaking it up. The Carnauba helps, you know, keep the paint slick and soft and protects your vehicle. Put it that way. Okay. Shake working the soap up. It's been sitting there for quite some time. You see it here? Is this mixing up? It's mixing up. Alright. Put some of this carnauba stuff in it. Okay, there you go. That's more than enough. Alright, so you put some water on it. Put it on the area. And if it disappears when you wash it, that means that you could definitely work on it, okay? So I do, if you see there's this little scratch mark right there, the paint came right off. And I'm gonna have to go back and fill in. That's not gonna come off. You have to get paint again and fill it in, which I'll do that later. All right. Once you do that, you're gonna dry it. You want to dry your work area here? Okay. Now, what you do is you're going to put tape down. And once you start working on it, so you can know where that scratch is at. I'm going to have to fill in some more piece right there, but this should be able to come off. And what you do is you mark it with the paint, so you know where the scratch is at, and you keep track of where the paint needs to be filled in, because that's what you're going to basically do. So you put a little piece where the paint starts and when it ends, and I can see clear, my face is right on it, so I can see exactly where it started and when to end. So it will start about right here, and it ends about right there. About right there. Okay, you do the same thing in the bottom. And you're gonna move that piece. You're gonna end up moving this tape up and up the more you use, the more you start putting that together. Okay, so the next thing you do, is you're going to get yourself the sandpaper. Because this is a deep scratch, you have to use 3000 grit, right? So you want to, the reason why you want to do this is you want to keep it nice and flat. The surface, if you put your fingers on it and press on it, you're going to see that that's not going to work for you, okay? So I still have to move this tape a little bit, just a little bit, and a little bit lower. Give me some more space to work here. That scratches at an angle, is not straight, so I'll go a little bit lower on here, like this. Alright, so let's start scratching now. So you lubricate again with soap, and then you start scratching evenly, back and forth.
Don't want no flowers cause they simple pain. You don't look sad anyway. Wait, I see you smiling so I can't stand all of your tears cause they fake. I know what they really feel.
Take your time, even pressure.
Money don't count itself.
Back and forth. So start seeing that the scratch begin to fade. Alright, gonna hit it. Get a little bit of this water. You can see that it's starting to come off. Lubricate it again. It should almost be coming off at some point. I don't see it yet because this is a little thicker right here where I'm scratching it. That's what you're basically doing. You're kind of scratching the paint in. Keep going. Go against the grain, up and down, up and down, up and down. I forgot to say that. Take this tape off because it's in the way. I can see that it's filling in the crack. Put a little bit more pressure on it, but make sure that you let the sandpaper do the work. Go back and forth. You want to go against the grain, so you're going against, you know, you're trying to blend that line in. Basically, that's what you're doing.
Truthfully, I got lost in the moment, but now I'm alone and I'm toning. Got caught up in my head, far way to far ahead. I don't know where I'm going. Got caught up in my head, far way to far ahead. I don't know where I'm going. I got this butterfly singing in my mind. I'm far from life, my reminiscence fading in my life. I'm holding tight before I die. Let me find real lost in my trapping dreams. I'm paralyzed, dummy and Austin side by side, devil and God. God's lot of friends, but still so lonely. I don't know about all these trees fall through me. Can't run away from you inside me. Better days, but I still feel so lonely. 지금은 또 쉽게 나 burn out. 사람을 못 믿어, I'm alone now. 버리지 못하는 추억들이 많아서 can't run away, I'm no good now. Hope you sing more everything. From you I will never be free. Can't stop me from everything. So I don't know where to go now. Got caught up in my head, thought way too far ahead. I don't know where I'm going. Got caught up in my head, thought way too far ahead. I don't know where I'm going.
Sandpaper to another section and keep going. I even forgot what this thing, how I scratched it. I think it was in the garage and I was backing up. And I knew this was eventually going to happen. This car's way too nice. And I just have to make sure that I'm taking care of it. So it needs, like anything, it needs proper attention, proper love.
Give me the impression that I won't scratch your surface. And I could walk for days, searching for your place. But is it even there to find? Is there a chance for me?
Alright, boys and girls, I cleaned it with the clay bar. And that stuff does work. Have to be careful with it in the sense that you have to not drop it on the floor, because if you drop it, you're pretty much screwed. But I was able to clean with this clay bar. You fold it a couple times and you start to, I take it straight out of the box, this size you want, and then put 2 fingers on it and then just start back and forth. Make sure that you have it nice and lubricated with that ceramic spray. You can use all kinds of different things. I wash it down with water, and then you use this once you hose it down with the soap. Then you always keep it wet with this on there. Okay, I couldn't tape it because my battery died, So what I did now is I got this paint cut rubbing compound, okay, and this stuff is over the counter, not that expensive. And what it does is it does give it a nice, you just apply it, right? You apply it, you can see the difference. I already buffed it here as to that side over there. This is glazed over, so I'm letting it dry out a little bit. And you don't want to be too dry either. You want to keep it kind of moist and wet, so you could always hit it with a little bit of water, just a tad bit. You don't want to cut through the paint. So this is, it is a cool day today, which is great for that. And then you could hit it with another shiny component. See, I hit both sides. It's hard to convey or to show how smooth the surface is. It is very smooth to the touch. Your hands just slide it over without any kind of bumps or any kind of blockage or anything like that. That's not able for you to slide your hand. But this is I'm doing just a very light buff, if you will. But yeah, I mean, it looks really nice. I'm going to get a plastic cover to cover this car up because I know it's going to rain tomorrow. And I'm not going to do the whole car. I'm going to just do sections of it. I'll probably do the section from here back. And then once the rain is over, it's supposed to rain on Wednesday. Hopefully the forecast changes. And then I'll be able to work on these wheels as well. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. As of right now, I'm just touching up a little bit of the leftover spray residue that came flying off. This leftover stuff is actually really good to clean the bumpers. Like the leftover kind of serves as a cleaner as well as a shiner, polisher, if you will. It's good on chrome. Not with the buff for both your hands, freestyling. You can tell it comes out real nice. And then right now I'm going to go on a little trip, but you could tell right here on the side, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but you'll see that I still have some glaze right here. And I'll polish it real quick in 2 seconds. Again, you want to keep it wet, the surface. It doesn't have to be super slick, but just enough that it allows it looks better from far away. But anyways, I'll be back. This side is glazed, right? Or I should say polished up for the polish, and then this side is washed, but I'm about to do this side. And what you basically do is you take your time, you do not let it dry on you, and then you buff it out. Take your time when you're doing this and go back, and if you need to hit some spots, make sure that you hit it in a circular motion. What you're trying to do is, I already barclayed the whole car. The car was dirty, really dirty, and even though it looked like it was clean, it does help that barclay stuff. You can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's opaque now. It's good. I saw that I missed a couple spots here. So let it sit for about 10 minutes until it turns a little whiter. So I'm gonna hit this side, and then I'll bring you back and I'll polish. I think I'm gonna put the camera up there and you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'll bring you back. Alright, so here is part of the shot. You can see this is the polished side. This still needs to be polished, so it's got the wax on. And I'm going to do this side, and it'll be the last one that I do. And yeah, this is what you should come up with as the final results. It's 7 o'clock, past 7, so p.m. So we don't have a lot of sun left. But as you can see, you should be shooting for something like this. Alright, super shiny now. Microfiber. A little bit residue left over. You should wear joggers, something like this, that you're not going to lean up and scratch. And I always start with the hood and the trunk, and then I go to the sides. I don't go all the way down to the very end. Even if that, nobody sees down there towards the bottom of the car, so I don't really, I rather hand polish that. You don't want any road debris on the top of your paint. So what I mean by that is don't start from the bottom up, you know, of your car. This is the dirtiest part down there. So when I clayed it, I clayed the whole car here, but I didn't do the very bottom. You could do it with the end of the piece if you're ready to get rid of your clay bar because it's so dirty. Then do the bottom, in my opinion. And you can see how shiny it looks from this angle. You can see the reflection. Okay, so you know you did a good job. And you could always go back, and if you miss some spots, I see a couple right here, you could always go back and, you know, hit it again. But this should be the final product pretty much. I'm gonna go hit that side over there.
Follow into beautiful places.
Alright, so I just polished the hood. Didn't take me that long because I'm not going deep into it. I mean, it doesn't, I already bar clayed it at first. I put the clay bar on it first, and then you can see how shiny it looks now. I haven't done the sides yet. I did the trunk and not the sides, but you can see I'm very happy with it. This is the first time that I polished this car since I got it. In my opinion, I think there's another glaze that I could use that's even finer than this one, but it looks good. It looks very good. I'm happy with it. Alright, so we got the halos coming in. The nose looks very nice on this car. This is the A body, so this is like the Chevelle, the Skylark, you know, the Cutlass, and like what am I missing? The A bodies. Okay, so this is the body style. It's very nice, and obviously, you know, the coolest one is the Chevelle, but then I would say this would be like the second one, the second body style. And we have the opera window on this one. They have the sport coupe, which is the cooler version. That some people say the sports version, and that one is curved, right? But this is pretty tight too. It's just a different look to it. See that? Boom. So I'm going to do this panel. I might as well do the whole car right now. Might as well do the whole car. It's gonna rain in a couple of days, but I might cover it up and keep it from getting messed up. So that I'm gonna do that. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep on polishing it. All right. There it is. Now it looks shiny. Now it looks shiny. Alright, hopefully this camera picks up. I'm gonna put it over here. And I'm gonna hit this side, and you guys can see what I'm gonna do. Right here. The Cutlass. Don't be stingy with these. All right, a couple of days later, we're gonna hit this engine. The royal purple is a must. It's not that bad. It's just got surface dust on it from sitting. So I'm just going to hit it. Make sure you don't hit the electronics like the distributor back there. And you just want to just freely just start squirting. Just start squirting. Squirt it, let it sit and simmer, and that should take care of it, boys and girls. It's already looking clean. I wouldn't hit the electronics like I said. Just the engine. And just let it sit for a little bit. See that? Just hitting it. Wheel wells. Doesn't need a lot. It's not that filthy. It's not a filthy animal. It's a beauty queen. So you want to hit the firewall in the back too. Make sure that you don't hit that distributor. I would turn on the car while you're doing this. And I forgot what kind of, careful, this stuff is pretty strong. Wheel wells, firewall. There you go. You let it sit there for a little bit, a couple minutes. Hit this piece right here. Hit it back over there again. AC compressor, AC condenser, heater stuff. All right. I'm gonna turn this car on. And I'm gonna hit it with the power wash. And you go from there. Let it sit there for a little bit. Let it do its magic. And then we'll power wash it. All right. Be back in a flash. Why isn't it spraying? Because you're not. It was halfway on. No wonder. Yes, burns. And hit your face. A little windy here when I'm in the driveway. Okay, I'm gonna hit it. I hit it with the power washer real quick, not too strong. Very lightly. Okay, I'll be back. All right, boys and girls, you can see I power washed it, nice and clean. I'm gonna dry it off. Actually, I'll let the sun dry it. Then I'll come in, and they have this chemical that you can use to clean the engine bay, and it's not too sticky, as you don't want it to look all gooey. I hate when people do that sometimes when you're buying a car and they just dump a whole bunch of dressing on it, and it looks just horrible. So they have this other stuff that will lubricate the rubber on your car, so like the hoses and things like that, and it'll give it a nice kind of like like not a shine, but like a gleam, like a matte kind of finish, right? Take all that water off. 350 rocket here. And yeah, so I'm gonna dial it up real nicely. Before I do that, I'm going to wash the car quickly, and then I'll come back, okay? And then I'll show you what I'm working with. As to, I did buff this car. You could tell, I don't know if you could see from the video, but it's got some dirt on it. It did rain yesterday a little bit, just enough to pick up some dirt and lay it on top of the car. And this is right now from the inside of the engine bay. So I'll come back.
Call me up again, hit me up again. 우리 전화를 또 빼밀래. 난 너가 더 보고 싶은데. Yeah, yeah. 전화가 더 울렸으면 해. Yeah, yeah. I know this isn't what you wanna hear. You know I've been down so lately, no more tell you. All this pain inside me put me down to dirt, yeah. I'm too young to be this, yeah.
Protecting it from the April showers, bring me flowers. Protecting my wheels, protecting the top of the car for the most part, and we're just gonna wait for this rain to stop. For myself, talking to YouTubers.